Tomorrow, as we continue with Ma and Pa Kettle Week, the adventuresome Kettles will travel to the Ozarks. That should be fun. We'll have a GHQ quiz question and the gerbil races and a phone call. Now, stay tuned for Newswatch 16 next.
Good evening, I'm Karen Harch.
And I'm Nolan Johannes. Tonight in the news.
If it's not a dump, why are dump trucks making regular stops? I'm Mark Davis.
A second grader with cigarettes? I'm Bob Costantini in Union County. I'll explain.
And Tom Clark's cool forecast. Joe Zone with the track and field girls.
All next on Newswatch 16.
Watch from 7 to 5 all this week.
In your car, listen to Newswatch 16 on WKRZ AM 1340.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Some people in Luzerne County have been fighting plans for a landfill for 2.5 years now.
And tonight they finally made some progress in their battle. The residents of Kingston Township are upset because trucks loaded with debris have been passing their homes when there's no licensed dump in their neighborhood. As Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports, those trucks stopped rolling today.
These people are members of the Citizens Committee Kingston Township area. It's a group formed to fight a proposed landfill here in a 340-acre site owned by John Bederick. The landfill fight is still being decided, but over the last few days, residents have noticed trucks like these filled with debris going onto the property. But now that's been stopped by Fred Carl of the Department of Environmental Resources. DER says Bederick cannot dump the debris and he can't burn the debris, so the trucks should not be going onto the property. But John Bederick says yesterday one DER official said it was okay to burn. Today another official said no. Bederick tells me he'll wait until DER agrees on what to do next. Charles Adukovich lives next door to Bederick. Now he has pictures of barrels on the Bederick land.
My worry is of my spring. I mean, I wouldn't want that contaminated. I don't know what he's got in them drums or what he's going to store up there.
The other major concern of the people here is the big dump trucks. They say they come almost every 10 or 15 minutes. Now, can you imagine big, heavy dump trucks, some of them tractor trailers, coming up and down this narrow residential road? Now, that's a big worry of Cassie Kalita. She says there's a lot of children in this neighborhood, and Cassie lives right over there.
And they ride bicycles, and even if they move to the side of the road, if them trucks are coming up, you know, they could get hit by the truck.
The trucks may have been stopped and the anger cooled for now, but the residents say the vigil at the site and the fight against the landfill is still far from over. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Kingston Township.
People who live near the West Side Landfill in Plymouth Township may soon be getting relief from a dusty problem. The Landfill Authority has started work on a new baler. What that will do is compact the trash and bale it so big trucks won't have to travel in and out of the landfill, bringing dirt and mud to the streets. Groundbreaking ceremonies were held today for the new baler at the landfill. Officials say it's all part of a new effort to improve the operation of the West Side Landfill.
People worried about a proposed hazardous waste dump are expected to turn out for a big meeting in Luzerne County. The Foster Township Zoning Board will meet tonight to consider an application from a company that wants to set up a plant to handle low-level radioactive wastes. A lot of Foster Township residents are against that idea, and they're expected to pack tonight's meeting. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci will be in Foster Township tonight. He'll have a complete report on the update at 11. The State Public Utility Commission is still holding hearings in Scranton concerning how PG&W handled the giardiasis problem in our area. A PUC judge today criticized not only Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company, but also the full PUC itself. Newswatch 16's Kathi Belich is live with us now in our Scranton newsroom to tell us exactly what took place. Kathy?
Well, Nolan, so far there's no official reaction from either the PUC or PG&W on Administrative Law Judge Edward Casey's decision that the 12.6% rate rebate was simply not enough for customers. Now, Casey slammed both the PUC and the PG&W in his decision. Casey told me at today's PUC hearing that he cannot comment on his 16-page decision. It must speak for itself, and it does. Casey says while the PUC's efforts to branch out its investigation into PG&W, it has ended up overlapping some of its own efforts, and the PUC judge says that reminds him of the old Abbott and Costello comedy routine of who's on first. Casey says the evidence he's heard during these hearings at the state office building in Scranton indicate to him that while PG&W was aware of the threat of giardiasis contamination long before December of last year, the official attitude of the company ranged between casual indifference and studied neglect. Casey says the 12.6% refund to customers is PG&W's message that, quote, we know we are in the soup on this thing and we want to do everything we possibly can in order to cut our losses. Casey hinted at his solutions through two hypothetical settlements. One, a 25% credit to help PG&W's customers without financially jeopardizing the company, or a 50% credit in which PG&W would be willing to suffer losses for the goodwill of its customers. Now, the consumer advocate in Harrisburg says the 12.6% figure was found to be acceptable at the risk of getting nothing at all. But the office says it's all for Judge Casey's rally to get more than 12.6%. Kathi Belich, Newswatch 16, live from the Scranton newsroom.
Thank you, Kathy.
PG&W is also getting some criticism from an environmental engineer from New Hampshire. Dean Sproul has sent a written report to the PUC concerning the giardiasis outbreak in our area. The University of New Hampshire engineer was chosen by the state consumer advocate to look into PG&W's handling of the water problems. Sproul says PG&W should have tested its water supplies for the giardiasis sooner, should have kept a closer watch on its watershed land to prevent beavers from moving in, and the engineer says PG&W should have added more chlorine to its contaminated reservoirs. The Scranton Health Department says tests will be done on tap water in the city later this week, probably Thursday or Friday. The city has been advising residents and businesses not to drink the tap water, even though the state says there is no longer any danger from giardiasis. Wilkes College will take water samples to be tested by the federal government, and those results should be back by the end of next week.
In Wilkes-Barre tonight, they'll be talking about what to do with the sagging section of South Main Street. We showed you back in March that work crews were trying to keep the road from sinking into the ground. Well, the city engineer says the cheapest way of dealing with the problem is to rent a cement pumping machine, and that will make the road surface stable. That should correct any subsidence and should keep the streets from being dug up again. The cost estimated at $12,500. Wilkes-Barre City Council and the city engineer will meet tonight to talk about the recommendations for South Main Street.
Next on Newswatch 16, meteorologist Tom Clark will head out to his breezy backyard.
Tom, I understand we're in for another cool one tonight.
Cool. I don't know if I'd use that word. Maybe cold.
Cold. Downright cold. Huh?
But you won't wake up and see 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Fine.
Good.
That's good. Okay, but colder tonight than last night. I'll be outside when we come back.
And I'm Chad Booth. Join us in the future.
Tonight is a good night.
That's an excellent night. We will be at Future World, part of the Epcot Center in Walt Disney World.
And we'll meet handsome Danny Sullivan. From racetracks to modeling studios, he may hit Hollywood next.
And Elvis, another comeback. Well, no, it's not another look-alike. It's the brand new and expensive Elvis doll.
See you tonight at 7 on WNEP TV from Walt Disney World.
Well, here we go again. For the past few nights, we've been telling you that PennDOT was planning to close one of the lanes on Interstate 81 in Dunmore on the following morning. Well, once again, PennDOT tells us tonight that those plans have been put on hold until tomorrow. Both directions of travel will be sharing one side of the Bunker Hill Bridge while crews repair the other side. The crossover is now expected to begin tomorrow, causing traffic tie-ups.
Tom Clark has been taking some heat from me lately about all of this cold weather, Tom. What's going on?
What's going on? 15 degrees below normal outside today. But in just a moment, I'm going to tell you when it's going to warm up, and it's not too far from now. Let's check the reading under a, well, mostly cloudy sky. We have some gaping holes in the cloud deck, however. Temperature 53. Humidity is, well, it's comfortable. The wind northwest at 9. The barometer now is holding steady, and the air quality today was, well, good in Wilkes-Barre with a 50, but moderate up there in Scranton with a reading of 53. A few more aerosols in the air today up in Scranton. Range and temperature 54 the high today in this backyard. The low last night dropped down to 39. You can see the normals there. Record high, well, that's 87 degrees, and the record low is at freezing. A shot there from 40 Fort showing the Susquehanna River and some of those dark clouds overhead today. Now, some of those clouds grew tall enough to precipitate up to about 18,000 feet in some areas, and at the base of these clouds, well, the freezing level today was only about 3,800 feet. And at the base of these clouds, you had snow and sleet falling out, but that melted before reaching the ground in the valleys, and you had rain showers. But in some of the high ground, the sleet did not melt before reaching the ground, and had reports today from Dallas and Whitehaven of some sleet bouncing off the ground, even a few wet snowflakes. So it was that kind of a day, folks. Very cold in the upper atmosphere. Now, why has it been so cold? Look at this jet stream pattern, a very high amplitude wave pattern. Look at this way down here. A big bulge of cold air coming down in the far west, warm air coming up in the mid part of the nation. 76 up in Dickinson, North Dakota today. Very warm up there. But look at this. Another big bulge of cold air in the east. This jet stream pattern allowing air to move into Pennsylvania directly from Hudson Bay, Canada. But eventually some of this warm air is going to work in along about Thursday and Friday. Now, here's the satellite view just in. We can see some clouds over Pennsylvania. Down in Orlando, it was 90 today. Some of the students at the Old Forge Elementary School heading down to Philadelphia tomorrow for the class trip, take a jacket. A high of only about 60 down there tomorrow in Philadelphia. 82 in Denver today, and some thunder showers out in Salt Lake City, and they don't need any more rain out there because they're getting enough water from the snow melt. Now, here's the forecast for tonight. I think some frost is quite possible by daybreak, especially in the valleys. So if you have any plants outside sensitive to the frost, get them in or cover them up. 32 in Monroeton. How about the Oak Hill section of Music? 37. 30 in Mount Pocono. 37 Tamaqua. Buckhorn in the middle 30s. Avis also the mid-30s tonight. Now tomorrow, some sunny intervals in between the cloud deck. Maybe a stray sprinkle, but that's about it. 53 the high in Troy. Mostly in the 50s tomorrow. Sybertsville, Luzerne County, 57 degrees. The northwest wind continues. Now the Health Watch, resistance to aches and pains average tomorrow with temperatures still just a bit below normal. Sunrise and sunset coming up right there. Okay, cold tonight, partly sunny tomorrow. Thursday, beautiful, lots of sunshine, 65, 71 I'm looking for on Friday. And Armed Forces Week, the big air show at the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Airport, maybe a shower that day.
Absolutely.
Okay. Those covers up tight tonight.
Okay, thanks,
Tom.
Coming up, getting ready for the big racing season at Pocono Raceway.
Plus, a live report on District Track and Field. Joe's Own in Sports when we come back.
Howdy, folks.
The Kettles traveled to New York City, and the Big Apple will never be the same again.
Your hat, sir?
Of course it's my hat.
Please, we're taking you out of here, Paul. Just a minute, lady. What about his habeas corpus?
I'm taking that, too.
Ma and Pa Kettle go to town. Tomorrow's $16,000 movie at 4 here on WNEP 16.
Well, Joe, tell us all about sports tonight.
Track and field.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the way the weather feels, it could be district basketball out there. It is, though, time for district track and field meets. Tim Carlson is at Wilkes-Barre Memorial Stadium with the District 2 girls. Timmy?
Joe, this is more like football weather, to tell you the truth. It is really cold and windy out here, and we've had some rain, and that's going to hurt the times once again of these kids right now. We're in the finals of the events now, the evening session as they call it, and what's going on in just a few minutes will be the AA and AAA girls 100-meter dash. We've already had the finals of the hurdles go on. Earlier this afternoon, there were finals of a couple of events that they like to finish out earlier, and let's take a look at them right now. First of all, in the long jump, you see Deneen Dickens there. She was the runner-up at 14 feet 7 inches to Cheryl Morgan of Bishop Hoban, who won that one at 15 3 3/4. And then the final of the AAA 3200 relay. Valley West came across the finish line first. finishing with a time of 10:18. Abington Heights came in second with a finish of 10.25. Tunkhannock at 10 minutes and 38 seconds. And after that was the final of the AA 3200 relay, with Myers coming in first, Carbondale second, and Prep coming in third. So it's a big night of track and field here at Myers Stadium. The girls' District 2 championships. We'll have a full report on what's happened tonight at 11. Joe?
Okay, Tim, thanks. Look forward to that one later on.
We'll see you.
A lot of Philly fans fell asleep last night with the Phillies trailing the Dodgers 2-0. Well, guess what? The Phillies came up with 3 in the top of the 9th. It didn't look pretty. This was a clean base hit, but after that, an error. Matuzik with the bases loaded, hit by a pitch. 3-2 the final. The Phillies are 4-0 on this West Coast trip. There's that error. Phillies get 3 in the 9th and they win it. Okay, they're looking for 5 straight tonight. They'll throw Kuzman up against the Dodgers. Those drug suspensions, the ones Bowie Kuhn threw at Willie Wilson, Jerry Martin, and Willie Aikens ended today. Commissioner met with each player individually, talked about their involvement with drugs, and then advised on continual rehabilitation. Wilson is with Kansas City. He'll be starting in center field. Aikens is now a DH with Toronto. Martin will be in uniform with the New York Mets. Well, the guy who won 3 straight 500-milers up at Pocono is the first one in for this year's Van Scoy 500. Bobby Allison in car number 22 is the first official entrant for next month's race. Allison has won the last 2 Van Scoy races. Last year's, he says, played a major role in his Winston Cup championship. That's the award that goes to stock car racing's top driver. The Van Scoy 500, June 11th, the first of 3 big 500-milers. Our frustrated fan this week likes pro wrestling, so you can see the problem right off the bat. Mr. Zone, and I use the word Mr. very loosely. He or she writes, after listening to your comments on pro wrestling and how it is fake, I have this to say. To begin with, if it is fake, why do you cover it? And if it is fake, why are you little worms with their cameras there getting in our way? And I will finish with this. If it is so fake, you be there the next time, and let's see what you can do with the likes of Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, Hulk Hogan, and Superfly Snuka. If it is fake, you won't get hurt, will you? That's a pro wrestling fan from Sunbury. Okay, for the record, we don't cover pro wrestling, so our cameramen don't get in your way. Secondly, I would love to get in the ring with Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant or Mr. Wonderful. However, what's to be gained? I hurt 1 or 2 of those guys, maybe knock them out of action for a couple of months. I don't want that hanging over my head. Take my word for it. It is make-believe. Hockey news today, Philadelphia Flyers, Bobby Clark resigns as a player. He's going to take over as general manager. Don't forget, hockey tonight, Islanders in Edmonton, Game 3 of their playoffs, and NBA playoffs tonight, too. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. I'll see you at 11 o'clock. Where's Holt?
Would you really get in the ring? Come on.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
Right. I think you're about to get a challenge from someone.
I think so.
All right. Nice going, Joe. Thank you.
Great.
Still ahead, opening night for a new play in Union County.
It's a second-grade production that promises to be first-rate. We'll give you a sneak preview when we come back.
You can make a miracle happen. On June 2nd and 3rd, WNEP will present the Children's Miracle Network Telethon to benefit the Children's Hospital of Geisinger Medical Center. You'll meet some special children who have serious health problems, and through the care of Geisinger are here with us today. Every single penny that is raised will stay right here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania to make a miracle happen and celebrate the spirit of life with us right here on WNEP TV 16.
Finally tonight, the story of some students who are teaching themselves a lesson.
The stage is set, and the second graders in Union County have memorized their lines. As Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini says, these young playwrights and actors are putting on an anti-puff play to tell all of us about the dangers of smoking.
This is the Big Bad Wolf. What makes him so bad? Well, he smokes and sounds like a lot of people.
You should really quit smoking, you know. I can quit anytime I want to. I just don't want to.
In the short play written by these second graders at New Berlin Elementary School, the Big Bad Wolf often needs the lung power he doesn't have.
Here comes a big bad wolf. Quick, let's get in the house.
Orndorff is a role model the kids don't want to copy.
You got that cigarette pack rolled up in your sleeve. Does that make you look cool?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Do the big bad wolves think so?
I found out a couple children have been hiding cigarettes or throwing them down the toilets or getting all sorts of trouble telling their parents that they really shouldn't smoke.
Eventually, smoking catches up with Big Bad. No, it's not Broadway, but the second graders here at the New Berlin Elementary School feel their play has a very deep message to tell adults. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, New Berlin.